Hey everybody, welcome to the Frustrated Grad Podcast. Today is another special episode. Just like last time, I'm doing a review of a movie that's been highly anticipated. Pretty much everybody I know has been waiting for it. The movie is Captain America: Civil War. And to help me out with this spoiler full review, it's going to be full of spoilers. To help me out with this is a good friend of mine, a writer and radio producer, Tony Hoffman.
Hey, how's it going, Zach?
What up? I'm Zach, by the way, for people who may be listening to this for the first time and don't know who I am. I'm Zach Hughes.
Yes.
All right. So I did my YouTube spoiler-free review on my channel, youtube.com/zhradio. So I promise.
Subscribe, people, subscribe.
Yeah, definitely do that. By the way, if you hear a cat meowing in the background of this video, don't worry.
It's me.
Yeah, that's Tony. Actually, it's my very own Black Panther, Sammy. He wants to join in on the podcast. But
yes. He wants to avenge his father.
Yeah, definitely. All right, but anyway, I did my spoiler-free review, and I promised to do a spoiler talk just like I did for Batman vs Superman. So here it goes. So to kick things off, what are some of the because I have my notes here, but what are some of the things that stood out to you, and overall, what was your, I guess you would say, how did you feel about this movie? You like it, dislike it?
I loved it. I mean, it's easily the best Captain America movie in the whole trilogy. The movie actually works. It's actually more of a Avengers sequel than it is a Captain America sequel. So many characters in this movie that all get served. All of their arcs or character arcs get served, and that's just remarkable from just like a writing and a directing standpoint. I mean, like the Russo brothers, who were brought in to direct the Winter Soldier, the second of Captain America movie, did a great job with that. They did even better job with this one. And I mean, man, I couldn't. I was never a huge Captain America fan. Yeah. Even like before these movies, I always found him sort of like, basically kind of like the Marvel, Superman to an extent. But boy, man, these have been some very strong movies. I'm a Captain America fan now.
Yeah, because one thing I agree with everything you said, but I like that it is kind of like an Avengers 2.5, but it also is a logical follow-up to what happened in Winter Soldier and the events of Age of Ultron. It's like you see the fallout from both of those movies in here.
Yes, and like this movie, like it doesn't happen without all the other Marvel movies before it. Yeah, like
it's a culmination of all these events.
Yes, everything that happened before means something. Yeah. Like there is no reboot or not a reset at the beginning of each of these movies. Like everything that happened before matters. Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to, I guess, tell to listeners right now is that I think what the structure I'm going to do for this spoiler talk, I'm going to do some, I guess we'll try to see if we can go in some kind of chronological order. But we're going to talk about some highlights, maybe some things that could have been improved on, and
some minor gripes.
Yeah, minor gripes. And everybody is doing this, or some people are trying to avoid doing this, and some people are outright doing this, but the idea is out there for everybody. I want to talk about some comparisons between this and Batman vs Superman, but I want to hold that off for towards the end. All right, so so the movie starts out with this this action scene that's in. I'm trying to. Where was it in Africa? Do you remember the location? Because I know it was. I think it was Nigeria, actually, because it was Lagos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it starts out, and they're basically like hunting down crossbones.
Yeah, it has something to do with like some like chemicals
Yeah,
or
they were
something,
gonna
like
release some kind of chemical attack.
bioweapon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was this scene, like more than any of the others, felt like it was a direct follow up to like Winter Soldier type scene. Like they're
Exactly.
following Crossbones, who was formerly a Shield / Hydra agent in Winter Soldier.
That's when last we saw him, injured significantly.
Yeah, I didn't think he survived at all. What happened? Because he was basically in the building on. I think it was I remember it because I just recently watched Winter Soldier again, and it was an argument with Steve Rogers and Nick Fury. Like, you say you're on the 41st floor. It's like, well, it's actually 40, but whatever. It's like
Falcon.
there's no numbers on the outside of the building. So Frank Grillo, I forgot what this character's name was, but he was in that floor as the helicarrier just crashes directly into the building. So there was no way I thought he would survive. Like, he was horribly burned, but like, I feel like he should have been dismembered for his location in that building.
I think they show there's like a scene where
they show him being like, they're trying to resuscitate him or whatever, and he's like got all these burns and scars on him. But it was cool to see him again in the follow up to what happened there. And tell me what you thought about this action scene. Thought it was good, but it kind of gets overshadowed by stuff that happens later in the movie. But it was a really good action scene.
The best Black Widow action.
Oh yeah,
I think in all the in every appearance that she's been in, this is the best.
Yeah, she was just handling people, 2-3 people at a time. Like, yeah,
that whole sequence where she was just like running through like the crowds and like jumping over people while chasing.
Yeah,
after the guys to get those to get that vial.
Yeah, she was like a monkey. She was just jumping over people, sliding through things. Like
the camera just following her.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene. I'm trying to think, and let's just jump to the end of the scene, which is kind of, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, the inciting incident. Like, okay, he corners Crossbones, and
a revenge-stricken Crossbones.
Yeah,
he's been thinking about this moment.
Yeah,
to get back at Captain America for what he did to his face.
Yeah, so he finds out he has a bomb strapped to him. Captain America has him, and he sets it off.
Captain America he could have been killed. That could have been the end of him right there.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch.
She contains the blast.
Yes, but he doesn't contain it well enough.
Yeah, she's lifting him up, and I guess she's going to send him into space or something, or just take him really far, high over the city. But
away from the,
Yeah, but she loses her grip, or she doesn't contain it well enough, and it just blows up right into one of the upper floors of this like office building. So
dozens or so.
Yeah, and this is interesting. One thing I want to jump to based on this, you're familiar with the comic book Civil War story, right?
Vaguely. I remember that was like 07-ish, 08-ish. I know the whole superhero registration thing.
So this movie is kind of like a pared down version of that, obviously.
Yeah, they take things from it. It's not a direct.
So one thing I wanted to compare it to was, it was interesting how the incident that incites the Civil War in the comics is that these like young superheroes have this reality show, and they chase this one villain down, and like his power is that he can explode. So they chase him down to he's like right outside the school, and he explodes next to a school bus and kills like, I think it's like 300 people and like 100 kids, because he's right next to a school building. Ooh. So I feel like
that's significantly more than
it's definitely more, but I feel like I like this in comparison to that, because it's like
more plausible.
Yeah, it's more plausible, and it makes it more of an ambiguous thing where you want to decide which side to choose, because if something like that and that crazy happened, it would kind of force people way more onto the like registration type side.
Exactly, and like just sort of not to sort of like jump ahead, but the whole like the whole idea of like, should these superheroes be, you know, held accountable by the UN or controlled by the UN or by the government, or should they be working on their own? I can see both sides.
Yeah, totally.
They're both right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Okay. I'm trying to think. What's the next significant part that we should touch on? Because we probably could get straight to that, because it was pretty soon after that where General Thunderbolt Ross pulls them in and gives them basically his version of an inconvenient truth, where he shows them all the ramifications for their.
William Hurt, I believe.
His first appearance was in the last Incredible Hulk movie, right?
Mm-hmm. I vaguely remember that movie. It's been such Ed Norton.
Yeah, he was in that last movie. So they bring his character back for this, and he kind of just breaks it down for them, like, okay, here's the tally. Here's your kill count for all
New York.
Washington. New York, Washington D.C., Sokovia, and then I think they end with
the most recent.
Yeah, the Lagos incident. So.
Yeah, man, it's pretty. It definitely brings a point home of why these superheroes need to be put in check, as Mr. Stark says it later on in the film.
Yeah, and it's so funny, just to focus on that for a second. It's funny because on the surface, you would think, like, Captain America, this guy who stands up for America, is like, he's obviously going to go with the government, and then this rebel
because he's
guy
Captain
who didn't
America.
And then this rebel outsider guy who didn't want to be an Avenger, Tony Stark, would totally be on the opposite side. Yeah. But I feel like they've put the story together, and it made sense.
You believe that?
Yeah, happening. Over what has happened throughout the movie.
Yes.
Why they would end up on the sides they have, because Tony Stark learns to be part of a team, and then he like kind of veers off on his own and takes the initiative to create Ultron, and he sees how colossally he failed. And then Captain America is like, oh, I'm all about the government. Yes, I'm gonna serve. And then he finds out that his government has been infiltrated by his greatest enemy, and he's been jaded by that. And I like his explanation is that, like, governments are run by people, and people have agendas, and those agendas can change. So he's seen that play out right in front of him. So it's clear, like, why he's like, well, I trust my judgment. I don't necessarily trust yours, Mr. Government official.
A full reversal from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, so it just makes total sense, like, where they are now. So this is one thing that people, like, who haven't been following it may not understand, but I feel like it is worthwhile when you've been part of this story all this time. It's like, oh my God, it makes sense, and you can sympathize with both sides, because, like, I totally get where you're coming from, Tony, although you're kind of being a hypocrite, because you instigated one of the bigger inciting incidents. Yeah,
like he's you could almost say like he's solely responsible for what happens in the Sokovia.
Yeah, that was like his baby, and then like if he didn't have the recklessness to try again and finally get it right with
this
Vision,
computer or whatever it was, technology.
Yeah. If he didn't try again and get it right, that might have not went as well as it did. So, so I like that they draw the lines, and they kind of set up, like, okay, Cap is on this side and Iron Man is on this side, and then so what's the next part?
I think so there's a scene, I don't know if it happens before. I think it does, obviously it does, where you get Tony Stark. He's giving a lecture at MIT at his alma mater, and I
think that might have been right before this scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you see the it takes me right back to Captain America: First Avenger when they like de-age Robert Downey Jr.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I was
it?
like, what?
It's like I don't know whether to be excited or scared about whatever.
It was scary, but like good scary. I was like, oh my god! It's like, what is this? A scene from one of his earlier
Robert Downey
movies?
Jr. from like whatever Weird Science or something like that.
Like now you can really see the Junior in Robert Downey.
Exactly.
So it's like I was, and it was. Some people I saw in a couple of reviews had a problem with this. Like, why did it have to be like a tech demonstration? It could have just been a flashback. But I like that. It was like he was giving like a TED talk and saying like, okay, I created this, and
yeah, he's Tony Stark, man.
Yeah, and he's just like showing off by revealing to entire like assembly hall like a really dark intimate moment in his past.
A bunch of kids who get they get like free money or a grant to do their experiments and stuff there at the school or whatever it was. So,
but first let me overshare with everyone.
Exactly, this deeply personal dark moment in my life.
Like here's my Batman
my
moment.
failure as a son or whatever.
Yeah. So I like how, and just to kind of go back, because obviously this is our spoiler full talk, it kind of sets up like, okay, this is how he left his relationship with his father and his mom, and it like you don't know that it's going to connect with this thing, which was actually the first scene in the movie was when they thawed out Winter Soldier and sent him on a mission to.
Hey Zach.
Yeah.
Mission report, December 1991.
Yeah. Mission report. All right, but yeah, they send him on this mission. He crashes this car, takes the stuff out the trunk, and like we don't know what that's all about until later.
Don't know what it is. It's just these five blue packets of whatever chemicals, we assume.
I would assume it's like some version of like super soldier serum, something like that. But so they lay that out in that. We come back to that later.
It comes into play at some point. And to go back to that scene with the lecture with Tony Stark, no pepper pots.
Yeah, and it seems like from what I'm gathering from the movies that she may have left him, or they didn't want to pay Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like Gwyneth Paltrow apparently unavailable or didn't want to.
Yeah, so that's. But
it works out well.
Yeah, that's something we might get some follow up on later. But when he leaves from
we got enough characters.
Yeah, but when he leaves from doing his speech, we see Alfred Woodard in the background
he's waiting
backstage
for the elevator. Or?
Yeah, and then she basically says drops the bomb on him like
killed my
you killed my son. He was working in Sokovia. He was doing humanitarian work.
He was 3.6 GPA.
Yeah, but now he's dead, and it's because of you. Like, shame on you, Mr. Stark.
Fuck you, Iron Man.
Yeah, so it's funny because it takes you right back to the fact that everybody knows who these people are, so they can just come up to them and be like, this is your fault. So I thought that gave more of a push and let you understand where Tony went with his
and why
the sides he chose, because it wouldn't have automatically thought that would be where he was, but he's been pushed in this direction, and he's kind of had some elements of feeling regret for his actions or being traumatized for a few movies now. Like Iron Man 3 was entirely about him being kind of traumatized by the events of the Avengers,
anxiety attacks.
And then we see he seems like he's got some of his confidence back, but then he gets smacked right down again when he fails with Ultron. So it's kind of been building up to being maybe I shouldn't trust all of my urges, and maybe I should follow all of my random whims. Maybe I do need to be put in check.
God, that's what I love so much about these movies. Everything that's happening in all the movies matters.
Yeah, it all adds up.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think. What do we focus on next?
Yeah,
What's
no, yeah.
next?
Scarlet Witch, she's bummed about
Yeah.
what happened. Obviously, feels responsible because she should.
Yeah, and we see a little glimpse of her relationship forming with Vision, who's basically her babysitter.
Exactly. Vision wants to be. He's trying to understand the humans and emotions and what have you.
Trying to understand physics because he just walks through walls. He's like, oh, this isn't a thing one does. I thought everyone just walked through walls. I'll use the door next time.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch, does she have her accent still, or does it just
I think it was lighter.
It was lighter?
Yeah, because I feel some people had problems last movie where it was like it was
Boris and Natasha Bullwinkle.
Yeah, and then it felt like it wasn't consistent. So I think just tried to pull it back so that it didn't stand out as much this time.
Yeah, she can pick up the American dialect pretty quickly. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, I like her character. I like her. I like Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch.
And I really like just overall that like you see more of the scope of her powers. Like
exactly.
Like obviously she's not mastered it completely, but you can see like the potential. Like, oh my God, she can really do some stuff if she trains even more.
Yeah, that kind of like, hey, yeah, we have to talk about some things when we get later on in the movie with the whole big fight.
Yeah,
the superheroes and her powers.
Yeah. So let's get close.
Things could have altered.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. She saved quite a few people in that fight. Okay, so let's get closer to that. So what's the next like major thing you want to touch on?
Oh boy, so do you want to go straight to Black Panther or the Winter Soldier and his whole deal where he's like living in some crappy apartment in some foreign country, like his memories are like he remembers Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
he remembers that, but he does remember like the people he's killed and all the missions and stuff, but he's trying to stop. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and he's kind of been triggered by Steve, like during the end of the Winter Soldier, trying to like remind him who he is and that they know each other. So that's starting to kick in more.
Yeah, exactly. And the Accords, shockingly, Black Widow, she's all for it. She wants to sign.
Yeah.
Obviously, Iron Man wants to sign up with it, and Vision, he's with Tony Stark, so he's all for it. And but I think but before that happens, Mr. Rogers, he has to sort of step away from things for a little bit because someone very close to him has passed on.
Yeah, and that was interesting, and we get the reveal that the younger agent Sharon Carter was actually related to Agent Peggy Carter, who Cap served with. So that was like, it was a reveal that like I suspected because I finally learned the name and I was like, wait, her name is Sharon Carter? So
Carter.
Related? So we find that out in
at Peggy's funeral.
Yeah,
she died.
Yeah, things take a slightly creepy turn when you find that out.
What do you think about her character, by the way, about Emily Vandekamp? I mean,
I feel like I liked her from Winter Soldier. It was kind of she was kind of underserved in this movie because you find that reveal out. She does deliver a great line in her eulogy for her aunt because she reveals that her aunt told her like, okay, there's some situations where you have to be flexible, but then there's certain situations where you have to know where you stand and not move because like sometimes you're basically just paraphrase. Sometimes your judgment is best, no matter if everyone else is telling you it's not right. So sometimes you just have to be unmovable.
Well, whose situation does that? Or
yeah, it totally.
parallel?
Like Cap was like, man, it's like Peggy knew what was going to happen to me today. So he totally soaks that in. It was like, okay, that solidifies his stance of where he is. So I thought that was interesting that he kind of takes that with him into this whole conflict. So let's go to the
Captain America. Captain America. He was sweet on her aunt, and now he's sweet on Peggy's niece. So
yeah, it's all in the family.
By the way, it looks like season 3 of Agent Carter most likely won't be returning. So this may be a nice little, or maybe a not so nice capper on that character.
I feel like if it was, I mean, these things were all moving at the same time, but I feel like if they knew that we weren't going to see Peggy again, I would have liked to see like her actually, like maybe a flashback or something else with her character in the movie, because we got a nice little like kind of dream vision sequence of her in Age of Ultron, but it would have been nice to see something else for her if she's not coming back. But let's go to the UN meeting, and we meet the King of Wakanda, T'Chaka, the father of T'Challa, the Black Panther. So we don't get to meet him for that long, but we kind of get his stance. They've kind of been not secretive, but they've kind of stepped away from things. But they had some representatives of Wakanda who are killed in the Lagos incident in Nigeria, so they have a stake in these accords passing, and they're kind of in the middle of their proceedings.
Just right when things are about to get going.
Yeah.
We have a bombing.
Yeah.
And there are deaths. There are significant deaths. The king.
Yep. King T'Chaka is killed.
He is killed, and his son is very much affected by this.
Yep. And then it's pretty much right after this. Huh?
Everybody thinks that Mr. Bucky is responsible for it.
So they basically he's set off on a mission of vengeance to he says he's going to kill the Winter Soldier.
Tells that to Black Widow.
Yeah, so he goes after him, and it leads to another
Black Widow very lucky to survive the blast unscathed.
Yeah. So this brings us to the chase in the just kind of the street chase, the on foot street chase between Black Panther and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. And Captain America he finds a Bucky, but they are being followed. A whole squad of people there. They pretty much shoot the place up, and it just another incredible action sequence. Of a movie filled with incredible action sequences of a Cap and the Winter Soldier getting out of there. Fighting people. Both the shield comes into good use by the both of them.
Definitely.
The whole. I think one of my favorite parts about that was the whole thing with the banister with the Winter Soldier just jumping over the stairs.
That leap of faith.
Exactly. Just that was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
pretty darn sweet.
Yeah, and this is like your first look of Black Panther and his skills and his outfit, his vibranium outfit, because his country Wakanda that's like their primary export, or I mean that's one of their primary natural resources is vibranium, like strongest metal on this earth. So
I'm not a huge that familiar with the Black Panther comics. I know that Tanisha Coates is she's now writing the Black Panther the series that just started up now. So I may have to check that out next time I go to the comic bookstore. But I really like the character. I like the fact that he brings a nice. That character brought a nice level of like levity and sort of like focus and maturity, and like in a cast of those characters that are very much sort of like wisecracky and light.
Yeah, and I like just like how stoic he was. Like
exactly,
it comes up later, but he basically is not having any of these guys joking around like,
No.
like I'm not interested in this. And
I love it.
I like the fact that he's inserted into the conflict because it isn't really about either of their sides. He's not picking a side. He's just getting revenge. It's like, okay, Tony Stark is on the side of these guys going after the Winter Soldier, so I am by default on that side. But he's not like, let me sign up. It's like
he doesn't care about it.
Yeah, he's on his own mission while everybody else is having their main conflict. But he's right in the fold with everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah, we should. I think we should mention. I think the character's name is Zemo. He's not a Hydra agent, or he's pretty much just a guy from.
He was in the. I think they say he was in the secret police in Sokovia. And during the events of Age of Ultron, his family was killed. I think they were right on the outskirts of the city.
Yes, and they were like miles away from the city.
Yeah, but then I think there was some kind of like debris or something that
collateral or something.
Yeah.
So, he's like we think he's on the phone.
With his wife, or just checking his messages. So then, like over time, we realized like that's the same message.
He's recorded.
This is last recorded audio of his wife, and he just keeps listening to it. And we find out in the background over the course of the movie that he's like kind of putting things in place for like to instigate this conflict.
Yeah, he goes to Cleveland to find that ex Hydra agent to get that book. He tortures him to get the information.
It's the book with the star on the cover, and it basically has like code words to unlock
freight train.
Yeah, Winter Soldier. Yeah, 9-1 freight train.
Whatever the hell.
Alfalfa.
Potato salad.
Yeah, it's just like these random words that are like
just sets off the
if you say them in a certain order,
activates Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't remember them too specifically because I feel like I would start breaking everything in my studio. So just avoid the words. Avoid the keywords.
No.
Yeah. But so he's looking for this. I think he tries at one point to use them to just activate the Winter Soldier, right? Because he's able to get in and see where he's being held or whatever.
That's when after the whole thing with a Black Panther and Bucky and Cap and Falcon, they're eventually they're apprehended by the officials who are at this point are now already joined up with Black Widow and Tony Stark and the gang, and they're apprehended and they get their gear taken away.
Yeah. So let's jump forward a little bit. Okay, so we see Sharon Carter basically kind of throws her career away by she sneaks the gear to Cap and Falcon, and jumping forward, what's the next major thing we should touch on?
We gotta talk about our guy from Queens, the old web slinger being introduced.
Yeah, Tony said he sees the writing on the wall, sees that they're gonna have this conflict. He needs to bring
some people in.
He kind of gets a deadline to bring Cap and his people in, so he goes to get backup in the form of this young kid from Queens.
A fresh Spider-Man, by the way. He's only been Spider-Man for
6 months, I think.
6 months or something.
Yeah, he kind of Peter walks in and sees this famous guy from TV
Tony
hitting
Stark
on his aunt. It's like,
but I have to say, I had most people, I had reservations about Marissa Tomei, this young, Aunt May.
Aunt May is too hot.
Exactly. Aunt May is supposed to be traditionally this old woman with gray hair, but that I liked what they're doing here. I
feel like she gets younger in each iteration. It's like you had the lady with the white hair in the
Yeah, I like the fact that they're not in a house, in Queens. It's like an apartment, and that they're kind of changing things up.
Yeah, like
little,
this is a
yeah.
poor Spider-Man. He's a dumpster diver. He's got like an
That old whatever that is.
that
Was it like
old
a
Mac computer that he's
floppy
kind
disk
of
drive?
just put together himself.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Tom Holland as
Yeah.
Spider-Man. That has to. I'm just going to say it right now. That's probably the best live-action portrayal of not just Peter Parker, but of Spider-Man, which we see later in the movie. But I mean, what more can you say? That's sort of like what we wanted in Spider-Man, like this geeky high school kid, and later on when he's Spider-Man, just this kid that's just trying to like please Mr. Stark and everything, and he's like, not too much with the wisecracking, but enough.
Yeah, not yet.
not yet. But
yeah, I
but
feel like
yeah.
he's had a long conversation, like during their flight to wherever this airport was. He had a back and forth. Like I would like to see that on a deleted scene.
Yeah.
He kind of picks up some of her Tony Snark.
Tony Snark. But even like during that conversation that we see, in his bedroom with the Tony Stark, like he gives like a modified version of the with great responsibility speech, and and like I'm excited about what we're going to see with the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, I believe is the name of the movie coming out.
So I think it's interesting that like to start his first, this iteration of Spider-Man's first solo movie, that he's like already in the mix, so that it's more
no
likely
origins or whatever.
Yeah, it's more likely that we'll see like more Avengers involved in his story. So
Exactly.
I feel like it's not just going to be starting over again. So I like that idea.
Yeah. And Tony gives him he gives him like an updated, much improved version of his Spidey outfit than the one that we saw with the goggles.
Yeah. So let's get to like where we reveal this new outfit. They go to the great airport scene that everybody is talking about.
Legendary airport fight with the Civil War. The name of the movie. Here we go.
The titular Civil War fight.
Exactly.
So
Captain America and their gang, they've gotten some help as well. They've had Hawkeye makes an appearance here. We've had Mr. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and his introduction, like when they open the van and he's in the back,
the door and he's like sleeping. Whatever.
He wakes up and he's like, oh my God, it's Captain America.
Captain America, and obviously he remembers Falcon from their little interaction from Ant-Man.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like Falcon remembers, like, okay, this guy kind of snuck into our facility, so I guess he's adapted well enough. He's like, I guess I can get this guy.
Yeah, you kind of got the bested him in Ant-Man.
Yeah. So I feel like okay, everybody shows down, and it's like there's so much going on in this fight, but it's like I like that everybody gets
so well.
Everybody gets their moment. You can see everything. Nobody gets lost.
Yes.
And
no, we don't have to worry about the whole issue of like bystanders and people can kill. They made sure to like take care of that.
This is a wide open area. There's the place is completely empty. We've got plenty of space to move around.
Yeah, we'll compare this to that other movie, the Batman later on.
That's coming up.
But it's like Spider-Man fighting with with everyone.
Yeah, he shows up. He grabs Cap's shield, and then everything jumps off. It was just. This was great Spider-Man action for one. Like he's like chasing down Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then they get into their fight inside this one area. And I just love Falcon's line, like, because he's going back and forth with Spider-Man, and he's like webbing him up, and he keeps talking the whole time. He's like, I don't know if you've been in a fight before, kid, but there's usually not this much talking. I just love that, because he's like excited to meet all these guys, but he's like trying to capture them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Trying to please Mr. Stark. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
He makes that mention about the really old movie, Empire Strikes Back, and I think it was Rhodes this War Machine says like where'd you find this kid?
Yeah, because it was just funny that he was like you could see his personality in this fight, like not just the fact that he talks a lot, but it's like that he's like this science geek because he like grabs Winter Soldier's hand. He was like, "You got a metal arm? That's so cool."
Yes.
And I think he makes a comment about Falcon's wings. Like, "Oh, did you make these, or where'd you get these from?"
And Captain America's shield too.
Yeah, he's like fascinated by all of this stuff. So.
Like, look at what they do, like in such small amount of screen time with that character, that they just developed him so well.
Yeah,
and just such a that's just great. That's great writing. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, when you look at like I'm just gonna say the Batman versus Superman or some of the lesser superhero movies. I mean, there's just no excuse for not being able to to develop a character and create someone that the audience cares about, like they do with this film.
Yeah, because like over the course of time, like you get personality moments in the middle of the fighting. Like you see Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting each other, and it's like
we're still friends.
Yeah, we're so cool, right?
From the ad to the
like,
trailer,
yeah, it's like it depends on how hard you hit me. And then Scarlet Witch comes over, it's like you're pulling your punches. So it's fun to see those moments where it's like you get like in this movie that could have been like really dark and depressing. It's like it's still fun in the middle of the fight.
Fun,
and
it's so easy.
Yeah, and it's not like it's forced. It's not like
there's no like religious God parallels or 9/11 parallels.
Yeah, and even that, it's not like the fun moments during this fight. They're not like out of place, because it's like these people, like Spider-Man's meeting everybody for the first time, so he's excited about that. He's like introducing himself and fighting at the same time.
Yeah, in the middle of like Tony Stark and
and
Rogers.
And then you've got Ant-Man, who's like never been in this world before. He had this one mission, and now all of a sudden he's been recruited to the Avengers, basically. So he's he's like soaking everything in at the same time, and it's just.
Yeah, and Ant-Man provides, just an awesome moment and just a whole scene of awesome moments with the whole making himself huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but like before we get to that real quick, it's just funny that each side added a bug character. And, and they both like freaked out.
Spider-Man.
Like they're both like basically fanboys. But I like that. Like before he does this big moment, he's like, okay, we need because obviously when you look at these teams, they're kind of lopsided. Like you've got Iron Man, War Machine, Vision, and it's like and they've got this superpowered teenager, but it's like Ant-Man's like, okay, we need an advantage in this fight. So he's like, okay, I tried this one thing once in the lab and then I passed out, but let's see if it works this time.
Good.
And then he becomes Giant Man.
Giant Man. Yes. And then the quip that what Tony makes about, okay, if anybody else on this team has any like amazing, wonderful powers that they want to
it's time to whip them out, right? So I just thought that was really cool. Like, and before that, I think this was right before he became Giant Man. He goes small and goes inside Iron Man suit.
Tony's Iron Man suit.
Yeah, it's like, who's talking here?
Is your conscience?
It's like, it's your conscience. We haven't spoken in a while. It's like it was funny because like it's kind of like a Jiminy Cricket reference. Like he gets small and he's just inside pulling stuff apart. But then when he goes to Giant Man size, and then you see like Spider-Man like crawling all over. It's like they kind of switch roles. It's like Spider-Man's the really small guy with giant Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. So he makes the reference like, I saw this really old movie this one time. It's called Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And then he does the thing with the walkers that he wraps around and around with his legs, trip him. Yeah, the Imperial Walkers or whatever. But he wraps his legs up and kind of takes him down.
Yeah, and like during most of the fight, like Scarlet Witch, this like she has the power to like control people's minds and like they do other things with her little finger like things like you don't see a whole lot of her because obviously she's not a hand-to-hand fighter, but like don't you think like she could have used some of that like mind control, like what we saw in Age of Ultron, to sort of like really like do some major damage, because she's pretty powerful.
Yeah, because I think that like with each side you feel like, okay, there's so much more that Vision could have done.
Oh,
and there's
Vision
so
could have
much
like just destroyed them all.
Yeah, but that was the thing, is like they were sent to capture them, so it's like they didn't want to go too hard on them, and then you've got Scarlet Witch, who's kind of neutralizing Vision, because it's like she can counter almost everything that he does, so she's kind of like playing support in the fight.
That's how she gets away from him. She
Yeah.
like she's under Vision's supervision not to leave there, but she's able to basically send him all the way down to like the core.
Yeah,
or whatever.
she like, because we kind of find out, because they talk about it a little bit in an earlier scene, but she basically says both of their powers come from the mind gem, the gem that's inside Vision's head. So she kind of
scepter.
Yeah, so she kind of is basically like she's pulls from the gem and like disables him and forces him to phase into like actual physical form to keep him in control, and then just shoves him down like looks like 80 floors, just like deep into the earth, so that he can't stop her. So I feel like we don't see a lot of them fighting in the middle of the fight, but it's kind of like she's like playing cleanup. It's like I think there was this structure that was gonna fall on Cap and Bucky towards the end of the fight, and she like grabs it and keeps it from
lets them get to the airport hangar because they have to go take care of Zemo, because he's he's going to where was that, some Antarctica or wherever, with those super soldiers, those 5 super soldiers are
because they find out that there's more guys like the Winter Soldier, and
exactly,
and they think that he's going to like release them and have like this superpower kill squad.
Exactly. And they while they get into the plane to go there, Mr. Rhodes and Iron Man are trying to like stop them. Vision is he's a little distracted.
It's because Scarlet Witch is I think she's been hurt, and he's like holding her, and then Iron Man basically calls on Vision to take out Falcon. Falcon dodges, and Vision is kind of not focusing, and
bad aim.
He hits Rhodey, and then it's like we've seen it from the trailers, but even like just seeing it in the movie, it's like, oh my god,
like because they were gonna kill him off.
You could see like all his armor goes down because he hits the arc reactor, which is like the power source for the suit, and he's just like, I'm in a deadfall. I can't.
No power.
Yeah, and some people mentioned in other reviews, is like, why didn't Tony like install some kind of parachute in his Iron Man suit, because there's like a fatal flaw in his design, but. It really seems like that. From what I remember, it's like the War Machine suit was kind of just like an earlier version of Iron Man suit. Exactly. So it's like he might have gotten like the second-hand technology.
Hand me down.
Like if Stark
sloppy seconds.
Yeah, if Stark's reactor went out, he probably would have had like a backup, or he would have called Veronica to catch him. Veronica from the Age of Ultron. So
Falcon and the armor, they tried to swoop down to get him before he hit the ground. Unfortunately, they don't.
There was just a great scene too, because you could see everything. It's like Falcon's on one side and Iron Man's on the other side, and they completely just
straight down the middle.
Yeah, they completely just abandoned their fight. Like, oh my god, somebody's hurt. We gotta catch him, and they're both on each side, and boom, he hits before they can.
How does someone survive that?
I'm guessing there's some kind of shock absorption built into the suit, so that he doesn't so that he can't completely like snap his neck when he falls, but it's still a bad enough fall that he gets some part of his spine severed.
Yeah, paralyzed.
Seems legs. That he can't walk.
Yeah, so that really kind of pushes Tony Stark more. Over the edge in terms of stopping. Captain America and the gang.
Yeah. So what would we say? What's next after
So
that?
yeah, Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye and Falcon, they're all apprehended. By William Hurt and the authorities, and Hawkeye's pissed at Iron Man for putting them there and calls him a betrayer and a backstabber and what have you. And he tells him that he didn't know that this was gonna happen there. And William Hurt. He pretty much tells him that if it were up to me, I'd put you in here too. And that kind of causes some little friction there between Iron Man and and William Hurt. Character.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, what do we go to next? Will we go to the reveal of
I guess we
Zemo?
We pretty much go there. Tony goes there to help out what's happening over there with the whole Zemo situation. We find out that those 5 super soldiers that apparently Zemo put a couple of bullets in their heads.
And it's funny. He just reveals, like, because they don't know what he's up to this whole time. He's like, "Do you think I wanted more of these things around? I came to kill them."
I don't know, because
because it's like we don't know anything about this guy. We know he's on the path to these super soldiers, so we see they're all just taken out. They don't get a chance to wake up or anything. So
he killed them in their sleep.
So Tony shows up. I think at this point he's figured out that Bucky has been framed. And then
you think that he's going to be
Mm-hmm.
on their side now, and they can sort of come to some sort of agreement or resolution. But
Zemo drops the bomb on him, and it's funny because it's like I was thinking as the movie went along, it was like okay, they've resolved it, so they're going to be on the same side.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but they're gonna fight against these 5 soldiers or whatever. Big mean guy.
Yeah, I thought it was possible, but I kept thinking at the same time, and I don't know if you can say this is a fault of the trailers or if it adds to the experience, but it's like I thought the whole time, I was like, they haven't got to that 2-on-1 fight with Cap and the Winter Soldier versus Iron Man.
I wasn't even thinking of that.
Because I was like, they resolved things, but how are they going to fight again? What happens?
How are they going to motivate them to?
Yeah. So then they drop the bomb. It's like, oh, I've seen this scene before. I know that car. That's
December
my dad's
1991. As soon as that car, because you think about the date.
Yeah.
And then you think of that car and all that stuff with his parents, like they never made it to the airport.
Yeah, and then you see it. And then
he kills him pretty graphically.
He basically beats the father to death. Bashes his head in, and then he goes and I guess he strangles the bomb. They don't show that completely, but
we can assume he strangled.
Yeah, so then that sets Tony off again, because it's like you can think logically on the outside and be like, okay, this guy was brainwashed. He's just a robot sent to kill these people. Yeah. But he's standing there right in front of you, so you're not like, well, I'm still gonna kill him.
Exactly. I don't care. So he lunges after Bucky. Captain America stops him, and he was brainwashed.
Yeah, so this leads them into that.
Then he asks Steve, did you know? And Steve says, I didn't know it was him, and like he knew, but he didn't know it was him or whatever.
Yeah,
and, Tony's even more. He's even more pissed.
Yeah, because it's like, well, like all bets are off now, because it's like
exactly.
Then it's like, okay, I'm going after both of you. Like you didn't tell me, and you did it. So it's like this crazy fight, and then all the while, like Tony's going hard after Bucky, and Bucky is. I feel like at first he's in defensive mode, but then he goes in for the kill, and all the while, really Cap is just trying to stop the whole thing. So
do you think that Cap was like this whole situation, that he's like kind of selfish here, where it's like this guy, even though that is his friend and everything, like he's responsible for so much damage, and like he killed Tony's parents, and he did all these other things, and
I think he gets kind of blinded by it, and the fact that, like, okay, this is my friend, he wasn't in control, but it's like there's some kind of, they need to do something about this.
Exactly.
But he just doesn't agree with I think the thing with Cap is that he doesn't trust other people's judgment because so many people have proven to have ulterior motives that he was working closely with. Basically, everybody except Nick Fury has kind of shown that they're underhanded, like, and the majority of the Avengers. But he's seen this with Tony, that you can't trust Tony. He's seen this with basically the majority of Shield, at least the people he was working with. So he's like, okay, you say you want to apprehend him, but he's just going to show up dead in his cell, or I don't agree with the punishment that you have in mind for him. So I feel like he's really like saying like, let's think this out before we shoot first or whatever. So,
and Tony, he ain't hearing that.
Yeah, so Cap's solution is just like, you feel like he's going in hard on him, then he finally just like jabs his shield into the arc reactor just disable the suit, because we've basically found the Iron Legion's kryptonite. Like, you take out that arc reactor, they can't do anything.
Just a brutal, heartbreaking scene. That's the scene out of everything, that all the amazing things that happened in this movie. That's the scene that just stuck with me, that I'm still thinking about after.
Yeah, because it's the emotional core of the movie, because it's like Civil War, and people want to say it. Yeah, and people want to say it could be Avengers Civil War, it could be Marvel Civil War, but really this is about Captain America and Iron Man. So it's really the heart of the movie is that final fight between them. And you think, like, for a second, you think Cap is like, is he gonna try to kill Iron Man? But you see, like, his conscience wins out. Is like, I'm just gonna disable you so I can get him away, and I'll try to deal with what needs to happen with him, because can't trust anybody else, because I feel like they're just gonna kill him.
And just the things that were said during that fight, man, just like, just when you think like when you think Tony's got the upper hand, and like he just pretty much beats down Captain America, and he tells him like, stay down, this is the final warning, and then like Captain America gets up and starts jabbing at him, and he says, he delivers, his catchphrase, the line I love, I could do this all day, and like the audience that I saw with just like applauded. Because
he first said it, and when as a little scrawny kid when he's getting beat up in the alley in the first movie.
I feel like the general public in general is like pro team. It's like Team Cap, hashtag Team Cap. But that moment, like everybody in the theater, man, was like, yeah, man. Like,
yeah, because I feel like I was on Cap's side the entire time. There's parts that made me think twice, but I was like, nah, he's still right, because it's like, because
you can't trust the government.
Yeah, because his main argument was like, people have agenda. The governments are run by people, and people have agendas, and those can change. I was like he's right. It was like, we've seen that with Shield. We've seen that in within the Avengers themselves. Like, you can't trust people all the time, so you have to use your own judgment. You have to think on the fly, and then it really is like,
if there's something bad happening, you got to do something about it. Like,
because it's
you can't let somebody like tell you when you can't, go out and save someone.
Yeah, because if somebody's attacking the Earth, you got to wake up all these government officials in the middle of the night, like, okay, you guys got to vote, and then we're waiting.
I know.
And then I got to rent out my suit from the office or whatever.
My receipt, my Birdman outfit or whatever.
Yeah. So I feel like I stayed on his side the majority of the time, but there's some people I'm seeing like, Iron Man's totally right, but it's like, I like the fact that
they're
people,
Trump supporters.
Yeah, I guess. Like, although I thought those people want a smaller government. This is them taking over more. But either way, I like that it was able to divide people along these lines, because even if you didn't necessarily...
They're both right.
Yeah, even if you didn't necessarily agree with the policy or the accords that they were being asked to sign, it's like there's a personal issue between the two of them, and you could lean one way or the other on that thing too, because you could say it was really messed up of Cap not to tell Iron Man about it. On the other hand,
he was trying to protect.
Yeah, like he's trying to protect his friend, and it's like, I could tell you.
Letter.
Yeah, I could tell you that that Hydra basically killed your father, and they used my friend Bucky as a tool to do that. But all you're gonna focus on is that Bucky killed your father. It's like, well, they basically turned him into a robot, and they turned him into a tool for Hydra. And I think that loops back to him not wanting to sign the Accords, because it's like all that does is make the Avengers a tool for the government, and
Exactly.
we could end up being the same thing as the Winter Soldier. Like, we could just be sent on a hit mission to kill this person that these guys don't like, because he's like, we want to go somewhere. Maybe what if they don't let us go there, and what if they send us somewhere we don't want to go? It's like they become just like heroes for hire.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like what Zemo said. You know, the many people have tried to stop the Avengers and have failed, but the only people who can beat the Avengers are the Avengers. And,
Yeah, like I'll tear them up from the inside. And like
Yeah.
that he gets caught in the I forgot the character's name, but Martin Freeman. He's like talking to Zemo. He's like, "How do you feel about the fact that you failed?" He's like, "Well, did I fail? I think my mission was pretty successful."
During that whole the whole final fight with Iron Man and the Captain America, Black Panther, he tailed them there. He finds Zemo there, with a gun, and you think he's gonna come and pretty much claw his throat out, but
because he's like, he's gonna take himself out. He's like, well, we're not done with the
No.
And I think it was interesting, like over the course of this movie, Black Panther kind of has a full character arc.
Yes.
Like he goes out for vengeance. He sees like the bad that can happen when that's all you're focused on. He sees Rhodey get injured, and he sees all this stuff happen. And
Iron Man and Captain America keep trying to kill each other.
Yeah, and he kind of has I feel like he has a change of heart where he's like, I was first out for revenge, and now I just want justice. So I'm just gonna take you in. He was originally going to kill Zemo, as he said. Well, when he thought it was revenge. Winter Soldier was the one who did it. He was gonna kill him, but he finds out that you don't necessarily jump with your first instinct. So I like that he has this full arc throughout the movie, and it makes me wonder like what his movie is actually going to be, because I feel like this could have been the plot of the first
him and his
Black
sister
Panther movie.
I'm excited about.
Yeah. So was that his sister with him?
I believe he said that when Black Widow is there in front of her,
like, move or you will be moved.
And he says, as much as I would like to see you and my sister, fight or whatever. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
because I think I watched the Black Panther like motion comic. It was like a short series before, but if I can remember properly, I think like the army of Wakanda is like an all-woman army, or at least like his kind of inner circle. So that's an interesting idea, because like you saw how that chick was built. Like when she like walked into the scene, like my audience was like, whoa, because it's like muscles and butt, and like she walked up to Widow,
shaved
like,
head.
Yeah, she walked up to Widow, and people was like, oh, we are all ready to see this fight.
Yeah, just look at the little things that you see from that world, and from it just gets you like, I want to see more of this, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, because you see in one of the last scenes that
the big giant panther.
Yeah, the Cap and the guys are all like hiding out in Wakanda, and there's this huge panther, and I'm assuming that it's like made of vibranium, and it's like, I guess that's like probably his royal palace, and they're all fugitives hiding out in Wakanda. So that's like, I like that it leaves it open-ended, and like it tells a story unto itself. Like the movie tells a complete story, but
but the story continues.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see like they're not all back together. So like, how does
Cap
this play out?
Shield. He gave Tony his shield that his father made after.
And I love that, because he's like, you don't deserve that shield. My father made that shield. So he just drops it. It's like, well.
Do you think that he's gonna have like the updated or the sort of like retro shield?
Like the kind of triangular, old school shape.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I don't know how much that works as the,
like Black Panther uses some of that that material.
Yeah, she's got some of it, and I think they're all gonna kind of get upgrades because they're in like super high tech Wakanda where he could basically make them all new stuff.
Yeah. Fuck you, Tony Stark. We don't need your.
But I'm thinking like as far as functionality of that old
How can
school
you throw
shield,
it?
yeah, I don't think it'll fly as well as the original. He might have a new one that's just all silver or something like that, like it's just all chromed out. But I think that's just interesting to see where it goes from then, because it's like I'm thinking of like the future movies. Like if Black Panther has a solo movie, does it start in the past or does it start in present day? He's got all these Avengers hanging out at his house. Or like for Spider-Man Homecoming, he's in a world where the Avengers, like half of them are fugitives, so it kind of makes more sense where if he faces a big villain, he doesn't have backup necessarily. So it sets some things up that are going to be really interesting.
Well, we know Bucky won't be there.
Yeah, Bucky's been put back in ice.
He requested to be put back in ice.
Yeah, because he can't
control.
He can't trust that somebody else is just gonna say those words, or like he just might hear them randomly by accident and just choke out the person who's sitting next to him.
Freight train.
Like they're playing Scrabble and he looks at the board. It's like, ah!
Double word score.
Yeah, freight train. I win. And like, no, you don't.
One.
Yeah.
Just smacks the board off the table and just strangles some guy.
Yeah. So I think, I feel like we've kind of broken down the movie. So let's go into, what do you feel like? Well, before we get to that, what do you feel like? There's some things that were weaker points in the movie, or some things that could have been improved on.
Something that could have been improved on. I mean, there isn't like much that I can really like, just like gripe against here. I mean, we talked about that. There's no Pepper Potts in the movie. I believe they did did they explain why Hulk and
they did mention that, and
I read a review of it, but I didn't hear it myself in the movie.
That was actually a really good thing, like, because when General Ross, who's kind of pulling them in and showing them all their damage they've caused, the one thing that he mentions is like, where are Hulk and Thor? And I think Cap basically says, we don't know, we're looking for them. And General Ross is like, well, if I lost a couple of 100-ton nukes, I would have to answer for it. I was like, oh my god, that was a great line, because it explains like, okay, they're missing, like Hulk just flew off at the end of Age of Ultron, they haven't found him, and Thor, I would assume he's back on Asgard. But it's like, well, if I misplace like a weapon of mass destruction, I would be in trouble. So I love that they mentioned
that's a little bit different than our situation there, Ross.
Well, Hulk is quite similar to that, because he's not very reliable.
Nukes don't have feelings, and
nukes don't have feelings, but nukes do have a set destruction range. Hulk can pretty much jump all over the place and destroy everything, and he does emit radiation, so it could be quite similar.
Exactly, and he doesn't have a nice snazzy pair of purple tore off shorts.
Yeah, I was just wondering at the end of Age of Ultron, like, how does he fit into that Quinjet where he could just fly? It's probably looks like he's holding little toothpicks to try to turn and steer the plane. But so I feel like one of the things people mention as far as weak points in the movie, they didn't feel like the villain was all that exciting or whatever.
Oh, I loved it. I think it's just a nice twist, especially when you like compared, when you contrast it to like the Batman versus Superman, baddie, like this big giant, dickless, laser-eyed, super strength monster.
Yeah, I like that. It was like, because even though you feel like this could be super epic, like with all the Avengers fighting each other, it's kind of a smaller personal story. And the villain has a personal reason why he's doing all of this. I like that he was just a person, just like Alfre Woodard's character. She was affected by the death of somebody close to her. Yeah. And then this guy was affected the same way, but he just went the next level with it. So I like that he was kind of a smaller, more subdued character, because like he wasn't the point of the movie like the villain was not the point of this movie. It was a Civil War movie that actually it focused on being a Civil War, and it actually maintained that story throughout.
Zach, sometimes the biggest villains are ourselves.
Yeah. And I like that there wasn't just like this thing where you could have just lumped this in with every other movie. It was like, okay, they got the big bad and they got to go after him. And,
this
and
big
then everything,
super, I know.
And then everything is the same as it was when the movie started.
Big
I like
fight, Act 3, set piece, and we got to work together. And
it's like there are consequences for this movie. Like the next movie has to address this. It's like you can't just start over. It's not just like, oh, another day at work. Who's the villain today? Exactly. It's like there's going to be fallout.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think,
because like where do you go from like the Avengers and like Avengers Ultron, where you have like Loki and like all of these other things destroying New York, and then Ultron, you got Ultron and like this whole plant, like the whole city destroyed and all.
Yeah, because it's like you can't have the biggest villain ever each movie. It's like that's gonna build fatigue, and then you're gonna lose the stakes. People are not gonna feel like anything's gonna happen. Like, well, I know there's a movie like 2 movies from now, so this can't be the end of the world. So I like so all the points that some people brought up as weaker points, I feel like there's like a purpose for them. I feel like pacing wise, I feel like I kind of was waiting for it to jump into full swing like when I saw it, but I feel like if I see it a second time, like I know where everything's happening, so I feel like that wouldn't be as much of an issue. But
I was surprised by like how when I left the theater, it was I went to like a 7:15 showing and left out of there like right before 10.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised by the long running time, but it didn't feel long to me because I was having so much fun watching it. Yeah,
I felt like towards the beginning, I was just trying to place everything. I was like, okay, what's going on with this thing with the Winter Soldier? But then, as like the pieces fell together, it's like like I was in. So I feel like
I never looked at my watch.
Yeah, like as everything got going, I was just like I wanted more and more and more. So I feel like overall I didn't have that many complaints.
No, ditto.
So let's go into the inevitable comparisons.
Yes.
But
we're not being paid by Marvel, by the way.
Yeah. There's so many accusations on Twitter, like when Batman versus Superman first came out, this critic Grace Randolph was like, "Oh, these people are being paid off by Marvel to diss DC movie." But the one thing that stood out to me right after seeing this was I was thinking like, this movie in a lot of ways is very similar story-wise to Batman versus Superman. Yeah, but because it's obviously the main thing. There's both about superheroes fighting each other. They both have inciting incidents in Africa. They both feature the murder of government officials in a huge explosion.
You have this disaster that happens where like people are killed, innocent people are killed, and the government wants, the superheroes are responsible for it to be accountable.
Yeah, and when they call them in to be accountable, there's an explosion where government officials are killed. Yeah, and then there's a villain who ultimately controlling the whole thing, but. Obviously.
And you have the wheelchair guy, the Wayne Enterprises guy. He kind of reminds me of Zemo. He's just this like regular guy.
He's a guy who's been wronged. He's in his version, he's a pawn being used by the main villain. Yeah. In Civil War, he is the main villain. Yeah. So I would say the things that I like that Civil War did differently was basically everything. But things that I like they did differently, like mainly to start like with the villain. Like, I feel like Lex Luthor and Doomsday, I feel like they really took away from the core of what the movie was supposed to be, because it's like, okay, like in marketing for all of these movies, I feel like is really like taking away from the experience, because like you see this big villain and you see all the heroes standing next to each other fighting. Like that doesn't happen at the beginning of the movie. I know that happens at the end. Exactly. So I know this fight between the two guys that are in the title doesn't mean anything because nobody kills the other, and they have to team up at the end.
Yes.
So
and
it's
the whole
like,
motivation of why they fight each other is just done so much better.
The conflict makes sense, and that was the main thing I said in my YouTube reviews. Like, first of all, this conflict makes sense, and you can see both sides of it, and it's explained well, and like I said, the villain doesn't get in the way. He actually supports what is happening. I feel like Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman had his own agenda, and they were doing something else, and he just like forced himself in the middle of it.
So, Tony Stark's parents being killed.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's parents being killed.
Yeah, you obviously have those parallels, and they actually show them in this movie, so we've got that similarity. But I just like that we find this out for the first time, as opposed to Batman, whose parents we see get killed like every year.
Every Batman movie.
Yeah, it's like a tradition. Like Batman's parents get murdered. It's like a Easter pageant or something. Like, oh, let's see it again.
Yes, they're playing the role of Thomas Wayne.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, it's funny in Batman vs. Superman that Bruce Wayne's parents were two people from The Walking Dead. Yeah,
you know, Lauren Cohen.
Yeah, Maggie and Negan. It's like they were married in an alternate universe.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'm trying to think. Like overall, it was just a much better movie than Batman vs. Superman. It lived up to what I hoped Civil War was going to be, whereas Batman vs. Superman like totally disappointed me. I had high hopes for the movie. I wanted it to be great.
When I saw the previews and the trailers, it just every early footage I saw didn't look.
Yeah, it didn't look good. Doomsday didn't look good, and it was disappointing overall. But like Civil War, I was excited about it. The marketing, I never got worried by the marketing. I just got
more excited by the marketing.
Yeah.
With Civil War.
Yeah, I started avoiding things when they started showing clips.
I always do that.
Because I was like, oh no, I don't want to see anymore.
With the previews and
Yeah, because they released something with some more stuff with Spider-Man, and I think they released another Black Panther thing. I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, I did it with Star Wars too. Just I don't want to look at no teaser trailer, no teaser trailers.
Yeah.
No.
The one thing that I would say is that I wish these marketing companies or these companies that make trailers would pull back more, because I feel like they really show too much nowadays.
Way too much. Like, I want to be surprised.
Yeah, because it's like they'll show you something from every act of the movie now. It's like, okay, it starts like this and it ends like this. Come and see it. It's like,
it's like you showed me the movie already.
It's like cover up a little bit. You're exposing too much.
They just want people to get excited, Zach.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about one of the trailers I saw before Civil War was the trailer for Doctor Strange, because it's like it kind of leads you on the path to like, okay, this guy was injured. He was looking for a way to fix himself.
He's a surgeon.
He finds this world of magic, and you don't really know where everything is placed. It kind of seems like it's all from the beginning of the movie. So I like when they leave it more open.
He sounds like Hugh Laurie from House.
Yeah, that's the British turned American accent. But I think I feel like I'm excited about that, and the visuals look really cool. A lot of people are comparing that like city on top of a city thing to Inception. But like if you look at it closer, it's like 4 different dimensions on top of each other, because there's like one on top of the other that you can see. There's another one off to the right side that's coming in sideways, and the water is pouring off flat. I was like, wow, there's your flat earth B.O.B.
Yeah.
But
I don't know a lot about Doctor Strange. Like, my only point of reference is the parody of the character on the Venture Brothers. So
I haven't seen that, but I've been looking into it a little bit more. I think there's an animated Doctor Strange movie I think it's still on Netflix.
Yeah,
I plan on watching that
I think it is,
sometime
too.
soon.
Yeah.
So
Do some homework.
yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I'm just wondering like how all of this stuff is gonna fit together, because that's some of one of the things that a lot of people like feel like how do these things fit together? You have to watch this thing, and you have to do all this homework to find out this other stuff, but like I'm enjoying it because
I am too.
It's like. To me, it's never felt like homework. Maybe I feel like maybe Thor 2 was like one of the things. So like I don't know, like I feel like I have to see this, but it fits into other things. But like for the most part, all this stuff I've been enjoying. I've enjoyed the Netflix series. I enjoyed Jessica Jones, and some people don't, some people do. But I really liked it. Daredevil. I love Daredevil. Nice. I liked season 1 more than season 2, but like season 2 was just exciting for me because I saw the connections, and it started bringing in stuff from Jessica Jones. They make references to that, so like I'm excited about that, and I can't wait for Luke Cage and to see like where in time he is, and like how everything affects what's going on with his story.
Punisher is getting his own Netflix show. Yeah,
it was like that was teased towards like right before Daredevil season 2 came out. People were there was rumors that he was going to get his own show. Now it's confirmed, so I'm excited about all of that stuff. I love all the Netflix Marvel Universe stuff. It's like that's like almost a universe unto itself, but it connects. But it's like a great universe. We just focus on those shows.
Everyone has a universe now.
Yeah, I don't want it to become a thing just to become a thing, but I like the way Marvel is executing it. I have hope. I mean, I don't have hope, but I want DC's universe to be good, but just so far it's not.
No. Did you hear that Ben Affleck is an executive producer on this Justice League film now?
Okay.
Apparently he was not happy with how Batman versus Superman came out because he was kind of embarrassed because he came out and he said that this movie is going to be better than Daredevil, and it obviously wasn't. And
I mean, better than his version of Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
not the next Netflix show, because the Netflix TV show is better than Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it was. I don't know how you want to compare two piles of crap. I mean,
you can try.
I guess there were some more exciting moments of Batman vs Superman than Daredevil, but it's still not something I would watch again.
I just don't like how they're doing like the whole backwards thing. Like instead of like having the
everybody gets introduced in YouTube clips and in like you just meet everybody for the first time in this movie. It's like that could have worked, but it was just too much. It was like if you focused on Batman and Superman, that would be okay. And if you didn't have this like outside villain, and maybe hold off on Wonder Woman, it's like it was just too much. They tried to do their entire universe in one movie. So but this isn't a Batman vs Superman podcast.
Exactly.
But
Marvel just makes better movies. Yeah. right now.
Yeah. It Civil War, a lot of people saying it's their favorite Marvel movie, and I'm still trying to decide. Like, it's probably top 3 for me at least.
I have to like step aside after a while and kind of like look at the whole thing.
Yeah,
the movies as a whole.
Yeah, it's gonna take some thinking because I feel like I have to look at Avengers again, because obviously seeing them together for the first time was just so exciting. But it's like you have to be objective and like which one was better, because I really feel like putting Civil War up there. I loved Winter Soldier. It was just it was just great. And Guardians, even though it's like it doesn't feel like it's in this universe, it's in this universe, and that's still like a really good movie to me. So it's like Guardians, Winter Soldier,
it's better than all the
Civil
Thor
War
movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
It's better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Better than all the Incredible Hulks. Yeah,
so I feel like it's right up there in the top 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah.
So in my review, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 Infinity Stones. So what would you rate Captain America: Civil War?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would either be like 5 or 4.5. I think I'll go with 4.5 too.
Okay. I mean, because like no movie I feel like I've seen is perfect, but I feel like it's hard for me to.
It's a good movie. It's not just a good superhero movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, and that's what some people are saying. Like they're saying, like this airport scene is like the best action scene people seen ever. Because it's just like
giddy.
So much happens, and like you can see everything, and there's so many moments. Like there's moments within the airport scene. There's like, oh, that's so great. That's so great. That
and there are like Easter eggs in the movie that I hadn't even noticed that I'll have to like look out for the next time I watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch. I know this YouTube channel called Emergency Awesome. He usually does Easter eggs for movies after they've come out, and I've just been watching so many reviews where they mention stuff and it's like, oh, I forgot about that. That was cool too. So I just really liked it, and I'm
gonna see it again.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see it again. My brother's coming in from out of town, and I would probably suggest to them like, hey, why don't you want to go see Civil War? Like, I haven't seen it, but I'll go. Like, if I can get someone, to go with me again to see it, I would definitely like to see it again.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to see like a group of people.
Yeah. So, I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover about the movie. So, is there anything else that comes to mind to you?
No, except it's just a great kickoff to the summer movie season. I'm excited to see what else happens here. But this is just the superhero genre at its best, my friend.
Yeah, I think some people were feeling fatigued with the superhero movies, and I feel like
think pieces written.
Yeah, I feel like this is amped me up. So I'm hoping that there's some other great ones this year and coming forward.
Nobody says that when they're good. When superhero movies are good. Yeah,
like I think the fatigue wore off when people walked out of the theater for Civil War, and I just think that I want other movies to reach this level or surpass it, but they set the bar pretty high. So good luck for everyone else. So I think that wraps up our spoiler talk for Captain America: Civil War. We're right in at an hour and 40 minutes. This looks like this is wrapping up to be a little shorter than my Batman versus Superman podcast. But there was so much that I had to pick apart with that.
So much shit on.
Yeah, but so I want everybody to check the podcast out. I'm going to post this on YouTube. It's also going to be on iTunes. Do you want anybody to follow you on your social media? What do you got?
Sure. You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Hoffman. I'm also on Facebook, Anthony Hoffman as well. I'm on Instagram, Anthony_Hoffman. Anthony_Hoffman. Okay. 1984. That's it. Yes. 1984. All right. The year I was born. Yeah.
All right. So I'm on Twitter at Zach from Chicago. It's ZAC from Chicago. You can also follow at Frustrated Grad to find out what's going on with the podcast.
Social media.
Yeah. And like I said, follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/ZHradio. And for this podcast, youtube.com/frustratedgrads. All right. That's it for the podcast. Check us out. Follow us on all our social media and leave your comments on the comment section of this YouTube video. So thanks for watching, and that's all you get for today. The ramifications for
William Hurt, I believe.
His first appearance was in the last Incredible Hulk movie, right?
Mm-hmm. I vaguely remember that movie. It's been Ed Norton.
Yeah, he was in that last movie, so they bring his character back for this, and he kind of just breaks it down for them, okay, here's the tally, here's your kill count for all
New York,
Washington, DC, Sokovia, and then I think they end with
the most recent,
the Lagos incident. So
Yeah, man, it's pretty. It definitely brings a point home of why these superheroes need to be put in check, as
Yeah.
Mr. Stark says it later on in the film.
Yeah, and it's so funny, just to focus on that for a second. It's funny because on on the surface you would think like Captain America, this guy who stands up for America, is like, he's obviously going to go with the government, and then this rebel,
Yes, because he's
guy
Captain
who didn't
America.
and then this rebel outsider guy who didn't want to be an Avenger, Tony Stark, would totally be on the opposite side.
Right.
But I feel like they've put the story together and it made sense.
You believe that
over
happening.
what has happened throughout the movie.
Yes.
Why they would end up on the sides they have, because Tony Stark learns to be part of a team, and then he like kind of veers off on his own and takes the initiative to create Ultron, and he sees how colossally he failed. And then Captain America is like, oh, I'm all about the government, yes, I'm gonna serve. And then he finds out that his government has been infiltrated by his greatest enemy, and he's been jaded by that. And I like his explanation is that like governments are run by people, and people have agendas, and those agendas can change. So he's seen that play out right in front of him. So it's clear like why he's like, well, I trust my judgment. I don't necessarily trust yours, Mr. Government official.
A full reversal from like the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, so it just makes total sense like where they are now. So this is one thing that people like who haven't been following it may not understand, but I feel like it is worthwhile when you've been part of this story all this time. It's like, oh my god, it makes sense, and you can sympathize with both sides, because like, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, Tony, although you're kind of being a hypocrite because you instigated one of the bigger inciting
Ultron.
incidents. Yeah,
Like he's you could almost say like he's solely responsible for what happens in the Sokovia.
yeah, that was like his baby. And then like if he didn't have the recklessness to try again and finally get it right with
this
Vision,
super
he
computer or whatever it was, technology.
yeah, if he didn't try again and get it right, that might have not went as well as it did. So so I like that they draw the lines and they kind of set up like, okay, Cap is on this side and Iron Man is on this side. Sure. And then, okay, so what's the next part?
I think, okay, so there's a scene, I don't know if it happens before. I think it does obviously it does, where we get Tony Stark. He's giving a lecture at MIT at his alma mater, and
I think that might have been right before this scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you see it takes me right back to Captain America: First Avenger, when they like de-age Robert Downey Jr.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, what?
It's like, I don't know whether to be excited or scared about whatever
it was scary, but like good scary. I was like, oh my god, it's like, what is this, a scene from one of his earlier movies?
From like whatever Weird Science or something like that.
Like now you can really see the Junior in Robert Downey.
Exactly.
So it's like I was, and it was. Some people I saw in a couple of reviews had a problem with this. Like, why did it have to be like a tech demonstration? It could have just been a flashback. But I like that. It was like he was giving like a TED talk and saying like, okay, I created this, and
yeah, he's Tony Stark, man.
Yeah, and he's just like showing off by revealing to an entire like assembly hall like a really dark intimate moment in his past.
A bunch of kids who get they get like free money or a grant to do their experiments and stuff there at the school or whatever it was. So,
but first let me overshare with everyone.
Exactly, this deeply personal dark moment in my life.
Like here's my. Hey everybody, welcome to the Frustrated Grad Podcast. Today is another special episode. Just like last time, I'm doing a review of a movie that's been highly anticipated. Pretty much everybody I know has been waiting for it. The movie is Captain America: Civil War. And to help me out with this spoiler full review. It's going to be full of spoilers. To help me out with this is a good friend of mine, a writer and radio producer, Tony Hoffman.
Hey, how's it going, Zach?
What up? I'm Zach, by the way, for people who may be listening to this for the first time and don't know who I am. I'm Zach Hughes.
Yes.
All right. So I did my YouTube spoiler-free review on my channel, youtube.com/zhradio. So I promise.
Subscribe, people, subscribe.
Yeah, definitely do that. By the way, if you hear a cat meowing in the background of this video, don't worry.
It's me.
Yeah, it's Tony. Actually, it's my very own Black Panther, Sammy. He wants to join in on the podcast. But
yes. He wants to avenge his father.
Yeah, definitely. All right, but anyway, I did my spoiler-free review, and I promised to do a spoiler talk just like I did for Batman vs Superman. So here it goes. So to kick things off, what are some of the because I have my notes here, but what are some of the things that stood out to you, and overall, what was your, I guess you would say, how did you feel about this movie? You like it, dislike it?
I loved it. I mean, it's easily the best Captain America movie in the whole trilogy. The movie actually works. It's actually more of a Avengers sequel than it is a Captain America sequel. So many characters in this movie that all get served. All of their arcs or character arcs get served, and that's just remarkable from just a writing and a directing standpoint. I mean, like the Russo brothers, who were brought in to direct the Winter Soldier, the second of Captain America movie, did a great job with that. They did even better job with this one. And I mean, man, I couldn't. I was never a huge Captain America fan. Yeah. Even before these movies, I always found him sort of basically kind of like the Marvel, Superman to an extent. But boy, man, these have been some very strong movies. I'm a Captain America fan now. Yeah,
because one thing I agree with everything you said, but I like that it is kind of like an Avengers 2.5, but it also is a logical follow-up to what happened in Winter Soldier and the events of Age of Ultron. It's like you see the fallout from both of those movies in here.
Yes, and this movie, it doesn't happen without all the other Marvel movies before it. Yeah,
it's a culmination of all these events.
Yes, everything that happened before means something. Yeah. There is no reboot or not a reset at the beginning of each of these movies. Everything that happened before matters. Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to, I guess, tell to listeners right now is that I think what the structure I'm going to do for this spoiler talk, I'm going to do some, I guess we'll try to see if we can go in some kind of chronological order. But we're going to talk about some highlights, maybe some things that could have been improved on, and
some minor gripes.
Yeah, minor gripes. And everybody is doing this, or some people are trying to avoid doing this, and some people are outright doing this, but the idea is out there for everybody. I want to talk about some comparisons between this and Batman vs Superman, but I want to hold that off for towards the end. All right, so so the movie starts out with this this action scene that's in. I'm trying to. Where was it in Africa? Do you remember the location? Because I know it was. I think it was Nigeria, actually, because it was Lagos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it starts out, and they're basically hunting down Crossbones.
It has something to do with some chemicals or
yeah,
or
they were going to release some kind of chemical attack,
bioweapon or something.
Yeah. So it was this scene, like more than any of the others, felt like it was a direct follow up to like Winter Soldier type scene. Like they're following Crossbones, who was formerly a Shield / Hydra agent in Winter Soldier.
That's when last we saw him, injured significantly.
Yeah, I didn't think he survived at all. What happened? Because he was basically in the building on. I think it was I remember it because I just recently watched Winter Soldier again, and it was an argument with Steve Rogers and Nick Fury. Like, you say you're on the 41st floor. It's like, what was actually 40th? But whatever. It's like there's no numbers on the outside of the building. So Frank Grillo, I forgot what this character's name was, but he was in that floor as the helicarrier just crashes directly into the building. So there was no way I thought he would survive. Like, he was horribly burned, but like, I feel like he should have been dismembered for his location in that building.
I think they show there's like a scene where they
show him being like, they're trying to resuscitate him or whatever, and he's like got all these burns and scars on him. But it was cool to see him again in the follow up to what happened there. And tell me what you thought about this action scene. I thought it was good, but it kind of gets overshadowed by stuff that happens later in the movie. But it was a really good action scene.
The best Black Widow action.
Oh yeah,
I think in all the in every appearance that she's been in, this is the best.
Yeah, she was just handling people, 2-3 people at a time. Like, yeah,
that whole sequence where she was just like running through like the crowds and like jumping over people while chasing.
Yeah,
after the guys to get those to get that vial.
Yeah, she was like a monkey. She was just jumping over people, sliding through things. Like
the camera just following her.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene. I'm trying to think. And let's just jump to the end of the scene, which is kind of, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, the inciting incident. Like, okay, he corners Crossbones, and
a revenge-stricken Crossbones.
Yeah,
he's been thinking about this moment.
Yeah,
to get back at Captain America for what he did to his face.
Yeah, so he finds out he has a bomb strapped to him. Captain America has him, and he sets it off. Captain America is he could have been killed. That could have been the end of him right there. Yeah.
Scarlet Witch.
She contains the blast.
Yes, but he doesn't contain it well enough.
Yeah, she's lifting him up, and I guess she's going to send him into space or something, or just take him really far, high over the city. But
away from the,
Yeah, but she loses her grip, or she doesn't contain it well enough, and it just blows up right into one of the upper floors of this, like, office building. So
dozens or so.
Yeah, and this is interesting. One thing I want to jump to based on this, you're familiar with the comic book Civil War story, right?
Vaguely. I remember that was like 07-ish, 08-ish. I know the whole superhero registration thing.
So this movie is kind of like a pared down version of that, obviously.
Yeah, they take things from it. It's not a direct.
So one thing I wanted to compare it to was, it was interesting how the incident that incites the Civil War in the comics is that these like young superheroes have this reality show, and they chase this one villain down, and like his power is that he can explode. So they chase him down to he's like right outside the school, and he explodes next to a school bus and kills like, I think it's like 300 people and like 100 kids, because he's right next to a school building. Ooh. So I feel like
that's significantly more than
it's definitely more, but I feel like I like this in comparison to that, because it's like
more plausible.
Yeah, it's more plausible, and it makes it more of an ambiguous thing where you want to decide which side to choose, because if something like that and that crazy happened, it would kind of force people way more onto the like registration type side.
Exactly, and like just sort of, not to sort of like jump ahead, but the whole idea of like, should these superheroes be, held accountable by the UN or controlled by the UN or by the government, or should they be working on their own? I can see both sides.
Yeah, totally.
They're both right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Okay. I'm trying to think. What's the next significant part that we should touch on? Because we probably could get straight to that, because it was pretty soon after that where General Thunderbolt Ross pulls them in and gives them basically his version of an inconvenient truth, where he shows them all that Batman
My
moment.
failure as a son or whatever.
Yeah. So I like how, and just to kind of go back, because obviously this is our spoiler full talk, it kind of sets up like, okay, this is how he left his relationship with his father and his mom, and it, like, you don't know that it's going to connect with this thing, which was actually, I think, the first scene in the movie was when they thawed out Winter Soldier and sent him on a mission to...
Hey, Zach.
Yeah.
Mission report, December 1991.
Yeah. Mission report. All right. But yeah, they send him on this mission. He crashes this car, takes the stuff out the trunk, and like, we don't know what that's all about until later.
Don't know what it is. It's just these five blue packets of whatever chemicals, we assume.
I would assume it's like some version of like super soldier serum, something like that. But so they lay that out in that. We come back to that later.
It comes into play at some point. And to go back to that scene with the lecture with Tony Stark, no pepper pots.
Yeah, and it seems like from what I'm gathering from the movies that she may have left him, or they didn't want to pay Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like Gwyneth Paltrow apparently unavailable or didn't want to.
Yeah, so that's
but it works out well.
Yeah, that's something we might get some follow up on later. But when he leaves from
we got enough characters.
Yeah, but when he leaves from doing his speech, we see Alfred Woodard in the background
he's waiting
backstage
for the elevator.
Yeah, and then she basically says drops a bomb on him, like,
killed my
you killed my son. He was working in Sokovia. He was doing humanitarian work.
He was a 3.6 GPA.
Yeah, but now he's dead, and it's because of you. Like, shame on you, Mr. Stark.
Fuck you, Iron Man.
Yeah, so it's funny because it takes you right back to the fact that, like, everybody knows who these people are, so they can just come up to them and be like, this is your fault. So I thought that gave more of a push and let you understand where Tony went with his...
And why
the sides he chose, because it... Like, wouldn't have automatically thought that would be where he was, but he's been pushed in this to this direction, and he's kind of had some elements of like feeling regret for his actions or being traumatized for a few movies now. Like Iron Man 3 was entirely about him being kind of like traumatized by the events of the Avengers,
anxiety attacks.
Yeah, and then we see he. Seems like he's got some of his confidence back, but then he gets smacked right down again when he fails with Ultron. So it's like it's kind of been building up to being like, well, maybe alone. Like maybe I shouldn't trust all of my urges, and maybe I should follow all of my random whims. Maybe I do need to be put in check.
God, that's what I love so much about these movies. Like everything that's happening in all the movies matters.
Yeah, it all adds up.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think. What do we focus on next?
Next? Scarlet Witch. She's bummed about what happened. Obviously, feels responsible because she should.
Yeah, and we see a little glimpse of her relationship forming with Vision, who's basically her babysitter.
Exactly. Vision wants to be. He's trying to understand the humans, and emotions and what have you.
Trying to understand physics because he just walks through walls. He's like, oh, this isn't a thing one does. I thought everyone just walked through walls. I'll use the door next time.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch, does she have her accent still, or does it just
I think it was lighter.
It was lighter?
Yeah, because I feel some people had problems last movie where it was like it was
Boris and Natasha Bullwinkle.
Yeah, and then it felt like it wasn't consistent. So I think just tried to pull it back so that it didn't stand out as much this time.
Yeah, she can pick up the American dialect pretty quickly. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, I like her character. I like her. I like Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch.
And I really like just overall that like you see more of the scope of her powers. Like
exactly.
Like obviously she's not mastered it completely, but you can see like the potential. Like, oh my God, she can really do some stuff if she trains even more.
Yeah, that kind of like, we have to talk about some things when we get later on in the movie with the whole big fight.
Yeah,
the superheroes and her powers.
Yeah. So let's get close.
Things could have altered.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. She saved quite a few people in that fight. Okay, so let's get closer to that. So what's the next like major thing you want to touch on?
Oh boy, so do you want to go straight to Black Panther or the Winter Soldier and his whole deal where he's like living in some crappy apartment in some foreign country, like his memories are like he remembers Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
he remembers that, but he does remember like the people he's killed and all the missions and stuff, but he's trying to stop. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and he's kind of been triggered by Steve, like during the end of the Winter Soldier, trying to like remind him who he is and that they know each other. So that's starting to kick in more.
Yeah, exactly. And the Accords, shockingly, Black Widow, she's all for it. She wants to sign.
Yeah.
Obviously, Iron Man wants to sign up with it, and Vision. He's with Tony Stark, so he's all for it. And but I think before that happens, Mr. Rogers, he has to sort of step away from things for a little bit because someone very close to him has passed on.
Yeah, and that was interesting, and we get the reveal that the younger agent Sharon Carter was actually related to Agent Peggy Carter, who Cap served with. So that was like, it was a reveal that like I suspected because I finally learned the name and I was like, wait, her name is Sharon Carter? So
Carter.
Related? So we find that out in
at Peggy's funeral.
Yeah,
she died.
Yeah, things take a slightly creepy turn when you find that out.
What do you think about her character, by the way, about Emily Vandekamp? I mean,
I feel like I liked her from Winter Soldier. It was kind of she was kind of underserved in this movie because you find that reveal out. She does deliver a great line in her eulogy for her aunt because she reveals that her aunt told her, like, okay, there's some situations where you have to be flexible, but then there's certain situations where you have to know where you stand and not move because, like, sometimes you're basically, just to paraphrase, sometimes your judgment is best no matter if everyone else is telling you it's not right. So sometimes you just have to be unmovable.
Well, whose situation does that? Or
yeah, it totally.
parallel?
Like Cap was like, man, it's like Peggy knew what was going to happen to me today. So he totally soaks that in. It was like, okay, that solidifies his stance of where he is. So I thought that was interesting that he kind of takes that with him into this whole conflict. So let's go to the
Captain America. He was so sweet on her aunt, and now he's sweet on Peggy's niece. So
it's all in the family.
By the way, it looks like season 3 of Agent Carter most likely won't be returning. So
Okay.
this may be a nice little, or maybe a not so nice capper on that character.
I feel like if it was, I mean, these things were all moving at the same time, but I feel like if they knew that we weren't going to see Peggy again, I would have liked to see like her actually, like maybe a flashback or something else with her character in the movie, because we got a nice little like kind of dream vision sequence of her in Age of Ultron, but it would have been nice to see something else for her if she's not coming back. But let's go to the UN meeting, and we meet the King of Wakanda, T'Chaka, the father of T'Challa, the Black Panther. So we don't get to meet him for that long, but we kind of get his stance. They've kind of been not secretive, but they've kind of stepped away from things. But they had some representatives of Wakanda who are killed in the Lagos incident in Nigeria, so they have a stake in these accords passing, and they're kind of in the middle of their proceedings.